Hi, hello, welcome to my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today's Thursday, and normally you would get my live show that I have every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. with a panel of friends where we answer questions from the chat. But I'm on vacation, so I pre-recorded this fun video for you guys instead of getting the live tonight, and I'll be back next week. I want to talk to you about realistic expectations as a reseller. And I feel like this topic is just as important for you experienced sellers as the new ones. The first and most important thing to remember is that success takes longer than social media makes it seem. People see highlight reels, huge thrift hauls, $500 plus sales days, amazing flips, amazing finds. But what they don't see behind the scenes is the hundreds of listings that it took to get there, the hundreds of hours of sourcing that it took to find that one great item, slow weeks, slow sales, slow platforms, mistakes, returns, cost of goods is often not shown. I could buy something for $500 and flip it for $500 all day long. To put that on social media is a great flip. And you also hardly ever see the inventory sitting for months. So before we go more down this list into the realistic expectations for all of you, I really want you to think about what I just said and think about whose content you're consuming on social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. Look for the sellers that show you the reality. Look for the sellers that are transparent. If they're showing you their mistakes, if they're admitting when sales are slow, if they're like me and saying, I buy hundreds of bread and butter items and flip them and get one good thing a year. If they're showing you the returns or just, the basic honest behind the scenes, those are the people that you want to follow. That's the content you want to consume, not just the ones that have the highlight reels and only the good times. A general rule is if you're only seeing unicorn glitter farts, it's probably not a channel for you, because that is going to lead into disappointment and unrealistic expectations for you. That's going to lead you down a very bad road. You don't want to compare yourself to others, and you don't want others giving you expectations that are just unrealistic and unable to accomplish, because you don't want to feel discouraged and like you're not successful, because you probably are, but on your scale and for you. So just remember that on social media, success will often take longer than you're shown. If this is your first year of reselling, you're going to spend more time learning than anything else. You're going to have to learn brands, pricing, photography, shipping, customer service, inventory systems, accounting, keywords, how to make a good title, how to use AI if you use it. You're going to have to learn all the different roles and how to make a listing on all the different platforms as you start branching out and cross-posting. It takes time. It takes about a year to really learn all the things you need to learn as a reseller and get them under your belt. And then the second year is perfecting all of those things that you learned. And making mistakes along the way is not a failure. It's part of becoming a better reseller. You have to make mistakes in order to learn. Sales are rarely consistent. Every experienced seller will have slow days, slow weeks, seasonal dips, and random spikes. One bad week doesn't mean your business is broken. But one good week doesn't mean you're buying a mansion next month either. I think that the ups and the downs and the dips are very normal and everyone experiences them, but not everyone talks about them. But sales are very rarely consistent, and that's especially why it's so important to cross-post. Not everything you buy is going to sell overnight, or even in a week, or even in a month, or even in a few months. There are items that are just simply long tail. There are brands that are oversaturated that will take 6 to 9 months to sell. And if your business model is volume and you just have a ton of bunch listed and you sell a ton of bunch every day, that's fine. If that's not your business model, those are the brands you want to avoid. And that's just something you're going to learn as you go. And you're going to decide what kind of a seller or what kind of a business you want. If you're a volume seller, having a lot of long tail, slower items is fine because you're basing your sales on volume. You have a lot listed, you're selling a lot. If you want an average sale price based business, you're going to look at things a little more differently. And again, it's in that first year. You're going to learn all of this. But no matter how long you've been doing this for or what kind of a business model you have, you are still not going to sell everything quickly. Things take time. You know what else takes time? Building your inventory. I think a lot of people really underestimate how much inventory is needed for consistent sales. And you're not going to build a 500 item store overnight. You're not going to build a 2,000 item store overnight. It happens one listing at a time. It's not going to happen quickly. There's a whole process to sourcing the items, prepping, photographing, and listing. That takes time, but it also takes discipline and creating consistent routines that I talk about on this channel all the time. When you get your consistent routines in place and you get really good processes, you'll find that you can list more every day and you'll grow. But you're not going to do it in a week. It's not going to happen. Speaking of consistency, do you know what matters more than short bursts of lots of listings? Consistency. Listing consistently matters more than listing a whole ton of bunch. If you list 100 items, well, let's do 70 for math. If you list 70 items on Monday, that will never make you as successful or be as important to the algorithm as listing 10 items each and every day, Monday through Sunday. Consistency is what the algorithm's like on every single marketplace. And in fact, that counts for social media too. If you create content and you list on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, consistency. You're better off doing a little bit each day than big blobs at a time. The hard part is getting into those routines where you're listing consistently each day, but that's what you want to do. Consistency will always beat intensity. It is the cornerstone of being successful. You have to have consistency and you have to be listing every single day. And if that for you means you can do 5, then that's what you can do. I would rather see a new reseller consistently do 5 items a day than keep trying to push themselves to 10 or 15 and then having a day where they do none or fall off because they did too much the day before. You're always going to be learning. So you remember when I mentioned that first year is when you learn a lot? I'm in my 10th year and I'm still learning every single day. Every single day. Every meeting, every hangout, every interview, every podcast, every live show, every time I'm in a room with other resellers, I'm still learning things. And we're never going to learn all the things because everybody does things differently. And you're always going to hear a different viewpoint or a way of doing something differently when you're part of the community, which I highly recommend. Get yourself into the reselling community. Whether you're on Instagram, you can find, a community there. Facebook groups, List Perfectly has a great community built in. Find your people and build a community. It's so important because you're always going to learn and you're always going to hear different viewpoints and different ways of doing things that you're like, let me see if that works for me. And additionally, the platforms are always changing. They're always changing the rules. They're always changing their terms of service. Something's always happening. You have to pivot and you have to relearn things. So you're always going to be learning, whether you're year 1, year 10, or year 20. Platforms always change. Shipping changes all the time. Algorithms change. Buyer habits change. What's popular changes. So just make sure that you're constantly surrounding yourself by other resellers and staying curious. Don't ever stop researching or looking at other listings or asking for answers. Never assume you've learned everything, because you haven't. And remember, this one's really important. Profit isn't the same as sales. A $10,000 sales month does not automatically mean a $10,000 paycheck. Remember, there's cost of goods, shipping, supplies, fees, taxes, returns. When you're just focusing on your overall sales, those are called vanity metrics. And that goes back to what we said in the beginning of this video about social media only showing you the unicorn glitter farts and the highlights. Those vanity metrics mean nothing. I could have sold $10,000 with a cost of goods of $3 or a cost of goods of $8,000. It doesn't really matter. That front-loaded number is just vanity. Profit is all that matters. So when you're figuring out your numbers, remember there's cost of goods, shipping, supplies, fees, taxes, and returns. Remember when I said don't compare yourself to other people? I say it all the time. I said it in yesterday's video. I've said it a million times. It steals your momentum. It steals your momentum. And I went into a lot of detail about not comparing yourself with others in yesterday's video. And I will have that actually come up at the end. We talked a lot about your goals for 2026, but also about not comparing yourself to other people. It's so super important because it really steals your momentum. It steals your thunder. It makes you feel discouraged. Somebody else's business is not your business. Their life, their family, their situation, their goals, everything about another person is different from you. You can never compare yourself to another seller. You can learn from them and implement things that work for them into your business and see if they work for you. But the only person you should be comparing yourself is to yourself. Did you do better today than yesterday? Are you doing better this week than last week, last month, last year? Compare yourself to yourself. If you've been around this channel for a minute, you know I love to talk about work-life balance. Burning out does not help your business, especially in the beginning. But at any time, burnout does not help. It is not good for your mental health, especially, but it's really not good for your physical health either. It's not good for the relationships in your life. It's not good for the cleanliness of your home, the health of what you're eating. Working 16 hours every single day just isn't sustainable. You may need to work 16 hours a day in the beginning to build your business. You may need to work 16 hours a day because you have a full-time job in addition to reselling, but you got to still take breaks. I wouldn't recommend working 16-hour days for the rest of your life, but building a business in the beginning is very different than maintaining a business later on. And I don't know what your life looks like if you have another job or kids, but still work in breaks because it's not sustainable to just work. You have to make sure you're taking breaks. Are you drinking your water? Are you going for walks? Are you going outside to touch grass? Are you taking care of your pets? Are you moving your body? Are you getting up and stretching? Are you remembering to eat? Did I already say that one? It's super important. I have lots of friends who forget to eat, and I'm always fussing at them. Got to remember to eat. Food fuels your brain and your body, and you need your brain to work. So let's always remember to eat. Take half a day off, take the weekend off, take an evening off. Watch a Netflix show, read a book, watch a movie, go to a sporting event, do something fun, play a video game. Work-life balance is so important. And did you know that you don't have to buy everything? Seriously. You don't have to buy everything. There's always going to be inventory. Inventory will always be out there. The opportunities never stop showing up. The amount of items in the thrift stores and online shopping never dries up. It's always there. Passing on mediocre inventory gives you room for better inventory later. But sometimes passing up on inventory when you already have too much is good for your business as well. You don't want to keep buying and buying and buying and just build this huge death pile. And that builds, it takes up room in your mind. It's stressful. So just remember, you don't have to buy everything. It's fine. It'll be there. And it's okay to change your business. You can change your business anytime you want. I want you to remember that. That's probably one of the most important realistic expectations I'm going to give you today. Because people will start with a certain category or they'll start with certain items and they think that they're locked in. Listen, the people that buy from you on eBay will probably never remember your store name or that they bought from you. So it's okay. You're not locked in like a specialty boutique. You can change anytime you want. And I have several times. You guys have seen me pivot into many different categories and give up other categories. And it's fine. You might discover you love something new. You might discover you hate shipping certain items. You might discover that live selling isn't for you, or it is. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't lock yourself down into one niche. And don't be afraid to change. And you are not locked in. You can change anytime you want. Whatever you started with doesn't have to be your forever category. Just remember to set expectations that keep you in the game. This is not about becoming an overnight success. It's about building a business that will last. Every listing, every lesson you learn, every mistake, and every sale moves you forward. If you keep showing up consistently, you can look back along the way and see how far you've come. So consistency, again, that word keeps coming up because it's super important. And if you do that, you can always look back and go, man, look where I was last month, last year. You can see your growth. It's a slow and steady progress to build a business that is going to last. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything you saw in this video or reselling in general, let me know down below and I will get back to you when I'm back from vacation. Otherwise, go be productive, guys. Make some money. Hit my thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Feed some hungry hippos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.